Hello there, everyone. Hello, Kyle. In this video, I'm going to give one of my patrons, Kyle, a reading. His name was picked in the monthly lottery pool, which, if you're interested in participating in it, you can do so by joining my Patreon. And so if you pledge $2, $4, or $9, your name gets added to a pool and you get a chance to win a reading each month. So since Kyle did not get back to me on the topic or the reading type, I'll just do a freestyle reading. And please check the description to see Kyle's channel, because he's not only a patron and supporter of mine, he's also a YouTuber himself who has recently started a channel, a tarot and ASMR themed channel. So if you're interested, check out the link below and check out his channel. So anyway, I'm going to be working with the Santa Muerte Tarot, and we're just going to go with the flow. So I'm just going to shuffle the cards a little bit, and then we are going to pick a card to see which direction this reading should be going, and then the reading is going to unfold on its own. This is a reading type that is basically there's no rules, so anything that happens during this reading is improvised. And recently I've been really liking this format. So if you like it too, you can commission this reading type from me. And I think it's best to use this reading type when, for yourself or for other people, is when you don't really know what the issue is, when you're not sure what to even ask, but you feel this inner tension of wanting to resolve or figure something out, but you're not even sure what the problem is. This is when this reading type can be immensely helpful, because it's not only going to give you answers, but it's only going to show you what the problem is. And and correctly formulating what the problem is already 50% of your success. So let's try to find the one card that is going to tell us what this reading for Kyle needs to be about. And it's the Knight of Pentacles. So the Knight of Pentacles is showing up for you, Kyle, because you are in the middle of creating some pragmatic changes. You're making a difference in your own life by manipulating and rearranging your physical circumstances. And what that means is that you're perhaps getting used to a new routine. You're starting a new job. It can also, and it probably is referring to you starting this channel. And if I remember correctly, you mentioned that you really enjoy the ritual aspect of it. So it feels to you like kind of like a ritual before bed to make videos. When you come back from work, you sit down and you film, and there's a meditative aspect to it, which I can definitely relate to. But with the Knight of Pentacles, so the central problem with the Knight of Pentacles is that although there's this deep sense of desire to do things, there's also a fluctuating level of motivation. So the Knight of Pentacles does not necessarily have the laser focus and the organized and well put together energy of the Queen of Pentacles or the King of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles has bursts of energy when he is ready to take on any problem, ready to tackle any issue, any task that comes up. But then the enthusiasm drops and he finds himself unmotivated to continue. So it's this problem of staying motivated, I think, is what is at the center of this reading. I'm just gonna put the card right here. And so let's continue. Let's see how we can override this problem, or how you can deal with this. So let's see. Kyle. What can Kyle do to keep the motivation levels flowing? So what is some positive action that you can take here? All right. And the next card is going to tell us what you need to avoid. So the positive and negative actions. How to contribute and what to avoid. All right. Another card to perhaps I feel like we should draw a card to give some sort of an outline of what the advantages of keeping motivated and keeping focused on your work, on your goals can be. So I would like this next card to show you the advantages of keeping focused. And the next one will tell us about what happens if you remain disorganized, if you give up on your dreams and goals, which is kind of a scary prospect. All right, so let's see these cards for now. And if we need some clarification, we are going to draw more cards. But let's see what we have for now. All right. So, the first card was to tell you what you can do to contribute to the situation in a positive way. And we have number 13, which is the death card in the traditional tarot. And it's kind of a big deal in this deck to have this card show up, the Santa Muerte, because the whole concept of this deck is centered around the idea of death and grieving and letting go and transformation. So, let's see what you need to avoid. And we have the Four of Swords. All right. So far, so good. The advantages of keeping focused on your goals. Six of Pentacles. All right. And what happens if you give up on your dreams? The Two of Pentacles. So we have a lot of pentacles showing up. I'm just going to start reading the cards, and then we'll see if we need some clarification. So far it seems pretty straightforward for me. So the first card, as I said, is kind of a big deal. We have Mother Death here with her pregnant belly, ready to give birth to something new. And this kind of grotesque and morbid imagery is just meant to emphasize the importance of transformation in our lives. So the way you can contribute to your situation is by letting go of the old, by acknowledging and recognizing that certain things have run their course in your life, and by bravely letting go of those things and allowing this transformative power to sweep through your life and create space for something new. It sounds easy because it might sound like it's a passive thing. All you need to do is allow the transformative processes to enter your life. But in reality, I think what these two cards are trying to tell me and tell you is that there's two very different ways of being passive. The Four of Swords is what you need to avoid. And what we can see here is intellectual paralysis. It's swords, so that has to do with the intellect, has to do with our way of thinking. And there's a finality here. There's a different kind of finality, a a burying of certain patterns and thoughts and phenomena instead of allowing it to dissolve in a natural and organic way. So we can see death putting the nails into the coffin and separating some intellectually burdensome element and putting it in a wooden box. So it's by way of separating that he attempts to get rid of what is no longer serving him. However, in the case of the 13th card of the Major Arcana, we have a different process. It's a process of recognizing that the only way for new directions and new pathways to open up in front of you is by allowing the old to disintegrate and to mix with you. So it's a messier way of dealing with the past and the things that no longer serve you. I don't know if it makes sense. So it's not as sterile, not as professional, not as... It's not separated from your being. It's infiltrating your life as it is, and it's fertilizing your existence. And that is how the new life can be born out of this. When you follow the Four of Swords way, which now the word denial pops into my head, it seems like denial instead of integration. So when you deny the old and try to bury it and suppress it and get rid of it and forget about it, it is more harmful than useful. And motivation, true motivation, comes from the inspiration that is created by these bits and pieces and bones and tissue and organic remains of the old life that you're leaving behind. So you cannot try to almost surgically remove it from your being, from who you are, but you can allow it to dissolve naturally, to disintegrate and decay at its own pace, and to just like these fossilized animals from the prehistoric age that are now the main component to crude oil, I think. So their death and their decay is now meaningful because it was turned over the thousands and thousands of years and 10,000s, millions. It's turned into something that has practical value. And that's when we get back to the question of pragmaticism. So instead of completely trying to separate yourself from your past, utilize it in an organic way, is what the cards are saying here. Now, what is the advantage of trying to keep yourself motivated? We have the Six of Pentacles here. Or is it the Nine of Pentacles? I'm always kind of confused when it comes to this card because I'm not sure. Let's see. If there's any way for me to find out. I think it probably is the Nine of Pentacles instead of the Six of Pentacles. It just makes more sense. But let me see the rest of the cards. Maybe if I see the real Six or Nine of Pentacles, it will make sense. Sorry about this. I think it must be. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is the Nine of Pentacles. So, that makes even more sense than the Six of Pentacles, actually. So now I understand the message even clearer. So, the Nine of Pentacles is the card of independence and self-reliance. So, the benefit of keeping yourself motivated and trying your best to keep focused on these goals that you have set for yourself with the new channel and trying to expand in your career. What you are creating is essentially more pragmatic space and more freedom, more creative space. So it is essential in your attempt to liberate yourself and stabilize yourself as a self-sufficient human being who is capable of maintaining a garden, an empire that they have built, that they can be proud of. I think that's one of the essential things with the Nine of Pentacles, this sense of pride that comes from self-reliance and from doing what you really authentically want to be doing. On the other hand, if you give up on these dreams, the Two of Pentacles will be activated. And the Two of Pentacles in and of itself is not a bad card. So it would not be catastrophic if you stopped pursuing the things that you have recently started being interested in. However, it would produce a very different dynamic where the independence and the stability that is represented by the Nine of Pentacles is nowhere to be found. Instead, you're in a temporary situation, so you'd be thrown into a state of temporariness where you're more vulnerable to outside influences and the ups and downs of even the economy. So I feel like since we have so many Pentacles cards, this is a reading concerning your financial situation as well. So it's one of those things where actually choosing the quote unquote more conventional, more traditional way is more dangerous. It's creating more insecurities, more unpredictability, and more just having to go with the flow and having to deal with being destabilized. So it is actually creating a lack of stability. While on the other hand, staying true to your authentic inner desires is going to result in more stability. So that might sound a little bit counterintuitive, but it's often true, and it is reinforced by these cards that in your case, giving your best efforts to making your dreams come true is going to result in more financial independence and more power, more personal power, while retracting to a more traditional path is going to result in more confusion and a more hectic lifestyle. So I hope that you enjoy this reading, Kyle, and thank you to everybody else who decided to stick around and watch this video. If you are interested in booking a reading with me, please check out the description where I explain how you can do that. And I just want to say thank you to everyone for subscribing, commenting, and supporting my channel.